Who's your commander?
Good luck.
Equip.
Move to combat.
Resolves.
Now, before you attack
Does
me,
anyone have an answer?
well played.
Good game.
Hi Magic players, this is DJ, I'm from Jumbo Commander, and today is something super special. I'm going to show you my personal collection. I did this about a year ago, showing you 33 different Commander decks, and I'm back at it again, and I still have 33 decks. Let's see what's changed, let's see what's stayed the same. Let's do 33 deck techs really quickly. Let's start with the 5-color decks. One of my decks that I've had for the longest time is a Child of Alara deck. It's really awesome, mostly because it has all 15 gods. Yes. And really, it's an enchantment deck. It doesn't do very much unless it has all of the gods on the battlefield. It's really hard to turn them all on, but it does have some graveyard synergies and an awesome card like Replenish. So I can throw stuff into the graveyard over and over again, play lots of enchantments, get a lot of value, and then replenish. All my gods are back, everything's on, I'll do crazy stuff. It's a pretty fun deck. Next up, we have a new deck. It's Ramos Dragon Engine. This is kind of a Spells Matter deck. It plays tons of cards of different colors. Like this is Crackling Doom right here. It's a solid spell. 3 counters for Ramos, 3 different colors. Tons of spells in here, so a card like Kess that can cast them over and over again is super solid. I also can use all of Ramos's mana with big spells like Villainous Wealth. And of course, if I'm casting spells over and over again, we got Metallurgic Summonings to get tons of value. Next up, we have another 5-color deck, although she doesn't look like it. It's Najeela, the Blade Blossom. This is from Battle Bond. She's pretty new, and she's all about warriors. I was super excited when I made this deck tech, so I had to go all in on warriors. I particularly like the big legendary warriors that I've always wanted to play with, but I don't really have room for in other places. This is Dakin Blackblade. This is Hazazon Tamar, a favorite of mine. And this is Kresh the Blood Braided. Just powerful, cool cards that I want to be playing with. This deck also has other warrior synergies, especially ones with like tokens. This is an Oketra's Monument. And a Miri. I kind of liked Miri, and I'm sad that I never made a deck, but now she slots into warriors really nicely. And of course, this has tons of combo potential. I got a Derevi in here, although only a bird wizard. So sad, but Derevi combos like crazy. Same thing with Druid's Repository and Aggravated Assault. Tons of warriors, tons of combos. It's a really fun deck to play. Another multicolored 5-color card we have is Okagachi Vengeful Kami. This is a 5-color deck that just plays with politics. It messes with everything. For example, Assault Suit. I can Assault Suit up my own Okagachi Vengeful Kami and let you attack with it, dealing commander damage, doing tons of chaotic stuff, and getting revenge on your opponents, exiling permanents. It's great. Same thing with Rite of the Raging Storm. I'm going to give you elementals to attack with. I'm even going to make some deals. I'll make some friends with Dawnbreak Reclaimer, getting stuff back, and I'll let you get some stuff back too. And a lot of stuff from Battle Bond has made me super excited. Right here we have Purr's Whim, letting me choose friends or foes, and Thrilling Encore, which I think is just an underrated card. So good. And finally, I'm going to mess around with your spells too. This is just a solid little memory plunder, letting me play exactly what I want out of your graveyard. Changing the camera, changing the camera, changing the camera, So, next up we have dragons. This is the Dragon, and one thing that's interesting about this deck is that it's not truly a 5-color deck. I know I can play 5 colors, but I don't. This is mostly a Rakdos deck. I play with all of the dragons, and I particularly like the aggressive dragons in this. This is Territorial Hellkite. This can come down on 3 and start beating in. Stormbreath Dragon is a favorite card of mine. I talk about it a lot and how good I think it is. And of course, it's got some dragon token combo-ish stuff with Utvara Hellkite and Lathlis Dragon Queen. These two are super fun. I really like the introduction of Lathlis. And then, of course, we can Scourge of Valkis, which is just solid. Scourge of the Throne. All of this getting lots of dragons, getting damage in. And also in this, I have the World Gorger combo. So a lot of Rakdos stuff, a lot of aggressive dragons, and a combo to finish it out. I'm contemplating adding some blue for Nikobolas the Ravager. I think it could be fun. I don't know if I want to change commanders completely, but this is just something I want to explore. I don't know, I really like the Dragon making dragons cheaper. I can technically cast Dragon if I get things like Cavern of Souls and the special Dragonlands, like I might just barely, but really this is a solid Rakdos deck. I used to have a lot of 4-color decks, but now I'm down to just one. It's Yidris Maelstrom Wielder. This card is insane because of the Cascade, and I just try to take a lot of advantage of Yidris, making sure that he can get damage in with like this Keeper of Keys right here, giving him extra combat with this Seize the Day, and then really taking advantage by taking extra turns and just getting a lot of value. I have Noxious Revival here because I love the value of setting up Cascade, and I also have Rashmi here because I just want to cast free spells all the time. Now we're down to 3-color commanders, and up first is one of my favorites. This is Hazazon Tamar. I already mentioned him once. This Naya commander is great, and it's one of my favorites. I've enjoyed it so much so that I've added another Naya commander. This is Grimlock, Dinobot Leader. And Grimlock is all about dinosaurs, vehicles, and transforming. In fact, you can turn Grimlock, oh no, you can turn Grimlock over and have it be Grimlock Ferocious King, and he's just a huge beater. And what's this deck all about? Well, it's about dinosaurs, it's about vehicles, and it's about flips. We got a great vehicle here. We got Heart of Kirin, we got Jisath, and we got other dinosaur creators, Regisar Alpha. We actually have one of the best dinosaurs that you're not playing, Regal Behemoth. It's a dinosaur. It adds Monarch, it doubles your mana, it's everything you really want. And then some other great flips. Don't you always want to be playing Huntmaster of the Fells? Because I know I do. I love this card, and I'm so sad I can't play it in my modern Jund deck as often as I like. So I'm playing it in this deck. And then also the Nissa Flip Nissa is great. I have a lot of flip walkers in here. Moving the camera, moving. All right, this used to be my Akiri Line Slinger and Bruce Tarl deck. I was very happy with it as a Boros deck, and then I realized, you know what? You don't have to have every single color pair. You don't have to get everything. You don't have to collect them all. So I made this into a Mardu combination, and it plays so much better. Timna the Weaver is so strong. And so what do I do here? Well, I play with tons of artifacts. Bloodforged Battle Axe goes with the sort of equipment theme I have with Akiri Line Slinger. I have sacrifice outlets like Arcbound Ravager and Karklan Ironworks, which basically can send tons of great artifacts straight to my graveyard and get lots of value. If I'm sending things to my graveyard, then I can drain someone out with Marionette Master, or just do all sorts of combos. So it's really great because it's like a combo finish with an aggressive start. I also have cards like Eldrazi Displacer and Angel of Invention, things that just kind of let you combo off a little bit. You notice that the 3 cards I have here sort of make infinite little guys, so it's really a strong sort of deck. Next up was my Abzan Toughness deck, and then Arcades came out. Once Arcades was released, I knew I couldn't have Abzan Toughness anymore. I had to switch to Bant Toughness, Bant Walls, and so that's what I did. I got rid of all the tough creatures that weren't walls, added more walls, and kept the great stuff like Assault Formation. I kept the stuff that dealt with messing with power, like Meek Stone and Ensnaring Bridge, and awesome board wipes like Retribution of the Meek. So this deck, I haven't played very much, but I'm really looking forward to it. Next up, we have my Land Matters Sultai General, Tassiger, the Golden Fang. I'm contemplating turning this into a Muldrotha Lands Matters deck, but for now, it's just sitting as Tassiger. Well, what do I do here? Well, I have some legendary lieutenants that are just amazing. We have the Gitrog Monster, Tatiova Benthic Druid, and Titania Protector of Argoth. All of these are great lieutenants, really bringing the lands matter strategy together. This deck is just chock-filled with great lands. I have two awesome ones right here, Dark Depths and Glacial Chasm, just showing some of the lands that this deck can have. And then it also has some land synergies, Splendid Reclamation and Crucible of Worlds. It synergizes with Tasigur, it synergizes with a lot of the other lieutenants in this deck. And finally, we have a finisher in Torment of Hailfire, Villainous Wealth, other big things that can help end the game. Next up, we have Nekusar the Mind Razor. It's a very standard Nekusar deck. There's nothing really special about it. And in fact, I haven't played this deck in over a year. It's so sad. Because it is honestly a fun deck, but I've seen Nekusar. It's pretty fun. So it's got wheels, okay? And it's got ways to take advantage of wheels. There's nothing really too special about it. Maybe I'll give Nekusar a little bit of an upgrade and enjoy playing it again. Moving camera. Moving camera. Moving camera. Okay. Next, we have a deck that I really enjoy. It's Riku of Two Reflections. I like to call it Riku of Many Combos because this is filled with so many different combos. My favorite combo that this is filled with has to be the Bio-Visionary combo. And I really like this because you can copy Bio-Visionary with Riku. I also have other copy effects like the brand new Bramble Sovereign. Very cool for copying. By the way, there's tons of other copy effects in here that you can get value with Riku. I have Rite of Replication, which kicked on Bio-Visionary, just wins the game. But also solid spells like Phantasmal Image that you can copy and then copy with Riku. It's just really great. And then, of course, it's got tons of other combos, but here's Kiki Jiki and Pestermite just to give you a little bit of idea. I like the Kiki Jiki combo because Kiki Jiki copies, and that's sort of a sub-theme that I have. I had a Jund Dragons deck, and when I made a Rakdos Dragons deck, it felt like I didn't need Jund Dragons anymore. So I changed it. This is Wasitora Nekura Queen. Wasitora is an awesome Jund Dragon. I'm just going to do Jund things. Actually, I'm going to do something very, very specific. This is doubling season.deck. Okay, I have a few ways to get doubling season, but mostly everything in this deck needs to synergize with doubling season. My removal is Beast Within because it gives a token. My mass removal is also Subterranean Tremors because it gives me a token. My other removal is the Scorpion God because it gives -1/-1 counters. I have Planeswalkers, especially a Planeswalker like Nissa, Voice of Zendikar, because it's a Planeswalker that synergizes with doubling season. It gives tokens that synergizes, and +1/+1 counters would synergize. And of course, we have Primeval Bounty, giving you tokens and +1/+1 counters, all the synergy with doubling season, making this doubling season deck. It's a pretty new one. It flounders sometimes because I always have to have a token. I should probably have some more removal or something. This is Mizzix of the Is Magnus. And this Goblin Wizard is a pretty standard build. I also have not played this deck in over a year. It's very sad. What does it do? Well, it builds up experience counters through great stuff like Proliferate and cool spells, and then it's designed to go off. And it goes off pretty reliably. High Tide, Time Spiral, Past in Flames, and then as it goes off, I can make a super big army with Metallurgic Summonings, or this is actually a Mind's Desire, it's not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then it kind of wins just through normal storm means. But I enjoy playing the deck, but I enjoy gold fishing the deck more than I enjoy playing it against other people, so that can be a little bit disappointing. Maybe I'll tweak it a little bit, make it a little bit different. This is Rurkthar. This is a budget deck. I made a video about a $15 deck, and I built that deck. I made a few tweaks to it, but it's still super duper budget, and I'm running super budget cards. Super budget card draw when it comes to Sin Prodder and Combustible Gearhulk. Super punishing cards like Zozu the Punisher, Hammer Mage. I recently talked about this on the Command Zone as an underrated card, and I play it. I play Hammer Mage, and I love it. And then also, because Rurkthar and because all this, there's a lot of creature synergies on here. So Rada gives us a bunch of mana, Trustodon gives us a bunch of tokens, really leaning into Rurkthar and making sure we're playing every budget card possible. Music, music, transition. Look, there's a dog. Do, 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 do. There's another dog. Let's go on to the next deck. Do, 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 do. All right, the next one used to be my mill deck, and I took it apart. There's problems with mill. I want to talk about that a little bit later, but I turned it into a great deck, the Scarab God. This is not zombie Scarab God. This is value Scarab God. This is Panharmonicon Scarab God, which is going to be super fun. I really like the primordials. This is Diluvian Primordial and Sepulchral Primordial, giving us tons of value when they enter the battlefield. And then the Scarab God also lets me whip them back into play. Yeah, I also have whip in here too. This is Sidisi and Stitcher Giraffe. Sidisi is basically this double value, getting what I need, setting things up into the graveyard. Stitcher Giraffe essentially putting things directly into the graveyard. And so I got a lot of graveyard shenanigans, a lot of Scarab God stuff. It's actually just a really fun deck because Panharmonicon is really fun. Next up, we have Noyandar Royal Shaper. This is a classic control deck with a not very classic commander. Basically, I don't do anything until I have pretty good control of the game. Then I play Noyandar and don't let anyone do anything. And then I start animating my lands to doing crazy stuff. One of the great part of having animated lands is you can play cards like Planar Outburst, where you destroy all non-land creatures, return all non-land permanents on Devastation Tide. So basically I can wipe the board in tons of different ways, but leave my land creatures intact. This deck loves to play at instant speed, so Torrential Gearhulk is solid, but also because this loves to play at instant speed, a card like Nexus of Fate, letting me get that extra turn in at instant speed has been really good. I've only had a chance to play it once, and I had to tutor for it, but it was really good when I did. Of course, there's other things that synergize, like Noyandar Metallurgic Summonings, which I think I've mentioned twice so far. This just happens to be just the all-star card of my entire collection. And then also, solid inclusion to Fairy's Response. It's a counterspell, and you get to draw 2 cards. It's got some other text on there, but trust me, it's great in this deck. Next up, we have my second Azorius deck. This is Brago King Eternal. This is a classic Brago deck, and I haven't played this in a long time either. Probably 9 months, because it's too Brago-y. It just does everything Brago does. And maybe it's not even that fun. It's a little bit mean. Look at this active authority, blinking, killing things every turn. Reality Acid, this can go on any permanent and just destroys it every turn. Stonehorn Dignitary, I'm going to shut down other people's combat phases. Vendilion Click, I'm going to mess with your hand, or I'm going to filter my own hand, or even stuff like Glenelender Archmage, countering non-creature spells, flickering it, countering more non-creature spells. So maybe I need to update this deck too, who knows. Next up, we have some more movement. I'm sorry, Polka. That last section was a little bit off kilter, wasn't it? Okay. We have Athreos, God of Passage. And Athreos is a Shadowborn Apostle deck. Oh my god, look at all the Shadowborn Apostles. I have tons of demons, I have ways to get things back. It's a classic Shadowborn Apostles deck. And we have, by the way, 3 Orzhov decks. 3 Orzhov decks. I got a problem with Orzhov. Okay, we have Karlov of the Ghost Council. This is a little life gain deck. I like to gain little bits of life with cards like Soul Warden. This is pretty good. Let me show off my cool Soul Warden, because it's got a Soul Warden on the back. Oh my gosh. And then it has other ways to gain incidental life and then weaponize that life. GT is great because you can stick it on stuff and then activate the life whenever you want to. But really, Aetherflux Reservoir, gaining life, nuking people to their deaths. And it's got some control elements too. This is a 8.5 tails, really protecting your whole board, protecting your investment, and really letting you get Karlov in for commander damage as well. Next, we have Selenia the Dark Angel. This is a weird combo deck because it's all about life gain and manipulation and switching stuff. Basically, we can switch all sorts of life totals And so we have things to do that like Mirror Universe or Lich, Soul Conduit, Axis of Mortality. I love that Axis was printed. That's really fun. And we have ways to just mess with everyone's life total. I love it. Next up, we have Karvek the Merciless. This used to be my Grenzo Dungeon Warden Infect deck, but I turned it into Karverkerk instead. And it's still Infect. It tries to control the board and then win with a crazy Infect. Things like Chandra's Ignition is great on an Infect creature. Spreading some Infect around with Ichor Rats or this Hand of the Praetors. And then, of course, giving Infect with Tainted Strike and Grafted Exoskeleton. I don't know. It's a fine deck. It doesn't work quite as well as I want it to. Moving. Marion of Clan Nel Toth. This classic Marion deck. I want to get things into my graveyard and I want to reanimate them. So sack outlets like Yahenni's good. Grey Merchant of Asphodel wins games. Same thing goes along with Kakusho. Just destroys things. Sacrificing and reanimating. And then Spore Frog. Little frog. He just does so much damage. Borborygmos is a classic. I've had this deck for a really long time, and I love playing it. I love drawing off of Borborygmos suited up with a Snake Umbra or a Keen Sense. I also like getting tons of lands in my hand with Sprouting Vines or Storm Cauldron, a classic. Next up, I changed my Simic deck to be Purr and Toothy. These two guys are amazing. I tweaked things a little bit. I'm going to get tons of mana with Gyre Sage and Rishkar, Pima, Renegade. These two can give me really crazy amounts of mana. Next up, I'm going to spread counters around. I'm going to use that with Hardened Scales and Viral Drake, also fun to proliferate poison. And then just what goes really well with Toothy is a Chasm Skulker. Chasm Skulker Toothy, they're just like best friends. Okay, next up is my Grothama, the All-Devouring. Devours everything. This is my Power Matters deck, and it used to be my Sylvala Heart of the Wilds deck. It still is. I have the Sylvala stuff taken out right now, but I have tons of ways of getting huge power, like this Galta. But right now, because it's Grothama, I've actually gone Super Squirrel. I've put in Earl of Squirrel and other silver-bordered stuff, and of course, Earthcraft and Squirrel Nest to really take advantage of that. And then there's a Gaia's Cradle right there. Finally, we have another... We're on the single colors. I guess Grothama is also single colors too. Let's talk about Azuri Renegade Leader. It's a classic elf deck, Elf Ball. What do? Well, I get super good cards that are elves out on the battlefield. We have Heritage Druid, we have Wirewood Symbiote, not an elf, works with elves. And then we have Elvish Archdruid. They're just really good elves. I have ways to get the elves that I need so it becomes a little bit more consistent. We have Elvish Harbinger, we have Fauna Shaman, and then the thing that makes everything so explosive is Concordant Crossroads. Next up, we have Avacyn, Angel of Hope. This is a mono-white control deck, and it controls with board wipes. Austere Command, Cleansing Nova, super excited about that, and Hour of Revelation, two amazing board wipes that I just got in the last year, obviously. It also has like a little bit of a recursion package with things like Sun Titan, Emiria Shepherd, and Emiria the Sky Ruin. So destroy things, get things back. Avacyn just wins games. Zada Hedron Grinder is a cool Zada deck. Zada sort of lets you multiply things out. To play Zada, you need to get a lot of tokens. So this is a Young Pyromancer and a Horde-Living Outburst. Then if you cast something like, I don't know, Battle Hymn, you get a ton of mana. Then you cast something like Expedite, you draw a bunch on Zada, it multiplies across all your creatures, you get a ton of cards. You play Titan Strength, things get big. You play something crazy like Carry Zev's Expertise, and then you get to sort of start multiplying that across all of your creatures. And then finally you Twin Flame everything. It's basically a mono-red combo deck that's just super aggressive. I love it so much. Let's move to the last four. We're on the home stretch, everyone. We're almost done. Braids Conjure Adept. This is one of my favorite decks ever. And what does it do? Well, it lets everyone play big things, but you're going to have bigger things. You're going to play It That Betrays, and you're going to make them sacrifice, and you're going to steal it. You're going to play Townspout Tyrant, and then you're going to bounce their things that they can't play again. You're going to play Ixodron, and suddenly all their things get flipped over. Or you're going to copy their things. This is a phantasmal image. I know it doesn't look like it. Or you're going to steal their thing. This is a Gilded Drake. I know it doesn't look like that. Or you're just going to make sure that they attack each other and can't attack you. That's propaganda. Next up, we have Erebos. This is black enchantments. I love black enchantments. And I really needed a home for some of my awesome black enchantments like the Abyss, Nether Void, and Pestilence. These are special to me. They're just miserable enchantments from my childhood, and I need to subject other people to their misery. I also have other enchantments that are really miserable for other people. Painful Quandary. We got Tainted Ether and Spreading Plague. They're just miserable for opponents to play against. By the way, there's like no creatures in this deck, so I can just wipe the board and be mean to creatures the whole time. And then win with Torment of Hailfire, Exsanguinate, but I like to go old school, which is a good old Drain Life. Next up, Perforos, God of the Forge. I haven't played this deck in a long time, but I should, because it's fun. Because all I do is... Dogs, no! Everything is okay. So what I do is I play some utility creatures. This kills lands, this makes so you can't gain life, and this actually bounces something. The dogs are angry at Perforos because it's just so oppressive. This makes a ton of goblins, dude. Manga Infestation is so funny. And then also, I really like Hanware Garrison because it adds to the theme of the deck, and also I really want to flip it. And then we have Emrakul's Hatcher, just putting tons of stuff on the board and then giving me some mana for later. And let's not forget Norn the Wary. He's wary, he's awesome, he just wins games. And finally, the last deck. I've gone through them all. The very last deck is Karn Silver Golem. Karn Silver Golem is kind of a combo deck. We have tons of fast mana, just crazy amounts of fast mana. And then what do? We've got crazy cards that combo off like Paradox Engine. Yeah, we know that this thing wins games. We have Voltaic Construct. Basically, it lets you untap target artifact creature. Oh my gosh. Karn Silver Golem becomes an artifact creature. So basically you can kind of go off by using this to untap something, turning your mana rocks into creatures. They're crazy. Liquid Metal Coating also goes crazy with Karn. If you turn things into artifacts, Karn turns them into creatures. Suddenly you're killing lands, you're killing other things, you're animating their soul ring into a creature and then board wiping. Just a crazy combo deck. Hello everyone, this has been DJ with Jumbo Commander. Thank you so much for watching these 34 Commander, I counted, there's one extra, 34 Commander decks. I know, it's a little bit silly, but it's just because I love Commander so much. You know, you've seen this channel. I literally spend all of my time talking about this silly format. And I just want to find a spot for all of these great cards. And if you want to find some great cards, go ahead and check out tcgplayer.com. They sponsor Jumbo Commander. And really, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons. I'll see you guys really soon with Commander 2018. All right, everyone. Bye.